Okay, good morning. It is 9:37 on Monday, the 16th of September 2024, and as you can see, the market is open. It has pulled back a 1/4% so far this morning, and currently the market value for the Vanguard S&P 500 VUSA on trading 212 is £80.92p. If we look down to the bottom here, you'll see that for the sort of last 52 weeks, the rolling 52 week range, if you like, a rolling calendar, the high point has been £83 and 9p, almost 10p. So we're back down at almost 81 at the present time. If we look at the portfolio itself, we have a portfolio value currently worth almost 18,500. And that is up, I was going to say 20%, it's actually up 19.84%, just laughing at it because of 1984. Anyway, enough said about that. I think the reality is that there was a bit of a rise, a fairly significant rise on Thursday or Friday last week. That'll be the green candle that you can see there. In fact, that probably doesn't show all of it, because, as I say, this morning it has pulled back slightly, but obviously that candle still appears green. But I looked at this in the course of the weekend, and I think yesterday it looked as though the market had closed up roughly 0.75% on Friday. So, you know, for it to have pulled back 1/4% this morning kind of reduces Friday's gain to roughly 0.5%. Which is no great surprise. That was quite a rise for a single day, so no great surprise to see a little bit of a pullback on that today. Right, we will go ahead and have a look at the notifications right after this.
Light is Britain's far-right conspiracy theory paper spreading hate and vicious lies. No, that's what the BBC say. The Light is the only national newspaper bringing you the real news and informed opinion on what's really going on today. You can subscribe, order copies, submit articles, and read back issues on our website, thelightpaper.co.uk, and see for yourself why the establishment are so worried about the uncensored truth getting out to people every month. The Light Paper. Not far right, just right so far. thelightpaper.co.uk.
Okay, so notifications, let's have a little look. AST Space Mobile rises 13.7% after successful orbital launch of its first 5 commercial satellites. Uber up 6% after expanding driverless ride-hailing deal with Waymo. Boeing down 2.5% as factory workers go on strike over a new labour contract. And Adobe drops 8.5% on weak revenue forecast, fueling doubts over AI returns. So of those notifications, I recognize Adobe, I recognize Boeing, and Uber. Funny enough, the only one actually that I haven't heard of is this AST Space Mobile. But as I always like to say, it doesn't matter if you recognize companies or not. If you're invested in an exchange traded fund, which is self-correcting in a sense. If the fund is one of these ones that like the S&P 500, it follows the 500 best performing companies, and as things evolve over time, that the content of that 500 changes without you having to do anything. So that's basically what I'm trying to say there. It doesn't matter whether you recognize the companies or not, that are doing well or not doing so well, and doesn't really matter whether you follow the progress or not, so long as you are invested. Basically, if you're buying the market, you'll get the benefit of anything that happens in the market. Similarly, I suppose, if the market wasn't self-cleansing, or sorry, if the index wasn't self-cleansing, then you would also feel the impact of companies that were not performing just so well. But when you do have a self-cleansing impact, then that effect should be minimized. So we will go ahead and do this week's investment right after this.
With your help, we can continue to fight for freedom, reach new audiences, and bring important information to the public free of charge. This is not possible without your generosity. Join our quest for the truth and our freedom and donate today. Simply go to tntradio.live.
Right, as you know, if you've been following the channel at all, each week I put in £120. This is a theoretical account, although I will reveal that this is not a dissimilar amount to the amount that I invest in my own actual portfolio. So at today's market value, that's going to buy us just under 1.5 shares. I'm going to put that through as a market buy, which is what I do in real life as well. I typically try to buy when the market is open, because I think that's when you're likely to get the best value without kind of suffering any big volatility either at the very start or the very end of trading. So let's put that through. So we got 1.48 shares, pretty much as advertised, and the price paid was $80.91. The figures have updated, and as you can see now, we have a portfolio value of 18,530. The return on investment currently just below 20%, slightly lower than it had been because of the dollar cost averaging effect of having bought in there. I'm just looking to see, is there not something else that I would normally comment on in relation to that all? Maybe there's not. Oh, it's just, yeah, sorry. So it's the average purchase price is the other the average purchase price is the other thing there. So it's currently sitting at 67.61, and as we have noted, now I forget what it was earlier. I think I may have had it on screen earlier. I didn't call it out. But as we have noted in the past, the average purchase price, when the current market value is higher than the average purchase price, tends to increase slightly as we invest a bit more. And I think the past couple of weeks, the average purchase price has increased by about 10p when we've added to our portfolio. One thing that I just realised I hadn't mentioned today so far is that with this being the 16th of September, that brings us to 2 years and 24 weeks completed of this roughly 8-year FIRE journey. So we are are getting there. We are probably over a quarter of the way there to our sort of target time. And as I've explained before, the reason that it's an 8-year fire journey is quite simply because the maximum amount of money available in a practice account for trading 212 is £50,000, and at a rate of £120 per week, that will be exhausted after 8 years. You can actually see, if you look at the top left of the screen, that the account as a whole is currently worth 53,000, and that extra 3,000 is simply a reflection of the growth that there has been in the portfolio. But other than that, the figures down here at the bottom are more representative of the situation as it stands. So we have 34,520 in free funds, so those are the funds still to be invested, and then the portfolio value itself, 18,530, and as you can see, then the result shown to the right of that is the growth. If I go to is it this page? No, it's not. I'm just trying to think. There is somewhere, maybe it's here. So if I go here, you can actually see the different figures there. So the actual figure invested is 15,485, and then as you can see, there's a return reflected, and then once you add the two together, then you get the 18,500. But the figure invested is actually less, and as you can see, or maybe you can't, but basically on the screen there, there's a faint grey line near enough where the mouse is. So if you see the mouse tracking up there, that's roughly the direction of travel of the faint grey line, and that represents the money invested. Whereas the blue line above is the portfolio value, and as you can probably see, it is kind of trending away from the grey line, so basically indicating that the portfolio value is increasing at a greater rate than the investment itself, which is what we normally expect to see, is what we hope to see, and that is indeed what is happening, and currently at a fairly nice gradual pace. Now that's just looking at the last 12 months. Let's hit the max button. Now that's probably less easy to see, but I suppose if you look up here, where you can see a white figure for invested and a green figure for the return, if I start at the start, you can see that it's red to begin with. So basically there were times where fluctuations caused the value of the portfolio to dip below the amount invested, at least in the early days, and then we kind of arrive at a point, I would say probably about a year ago, where that no longer happens, and in fact everything just seems to sort of take off, and the more obviously that the market increases, the less likely it is that the portfolio value would ever dip below the value of the investment again. So that's the value of investing in the longer term, is that you benefit basically from the time in the market. I think it's J.L. Collins that said that time in the market is more important than attempting to time the market, and his logic there being that you cannot time the market. That is just simply not possible. Guys, that's going to be pretty much it for this week. Thank you for watching. If you particularly enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in following the journey, why not subscribe to the channel? I will just say that this is a new tower that I'm using here. I've only got it at the end of last week, and just still kind of getting used to it and moving stuff across. But it's interesting because whereas the laptop that I was using previously was struggling, this is not struggling at all, at least as far as I'm aware. Let me just call up the task manager and let you have a little look see. If I slide that across there, hold on, it would help if it would help if you were looking at the same thing as me. Let's just do it that way. Okay, so I have put the task manager on screen there, and as you can see, the thing that's using the most amount of power currently is OBS, and even with that, the drain on the CPU is only 43%. The memory is only in use to 31%, and I'm not sure what GPU stands for, obviously some sort of processor, but again, I mean the total for it is only 24%. So this machine is really handling things very, very well compared to the laptop that I was using before. Now the difference, of course, is that as I say, this is a tower. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM, whereas before I had 8. And this also has I think it was a 3.4 gigahertz processor. So I was lucky to actually come across that on Facebook Marketplace, I think it was, and really I was I was surprised. I mean, it was advertised £95, and it's a solid state drive as well, so that should be quicker than a drive that actually physically spins. Solid state drives are basically just like a flash card, and it has impressed me no end. So in total, it actually cost me £105, and the reason for that is it was 95 for the tower, which was just the tower itself, and then I spent £10 to get 2 adapters I needed. Basically it comes with 2 graphics cards, but the outputs on the graphics cards, well, they both have 2 outputs. They have a display port, and they also have DVI, I think is the name of the other one. So I do use a 2 monitor setup, but the monitors that I have are all VGA connections, so I had to buy 2 adapters at about a £5 each, which I was able just to get out of Curry's, not too difficult. And thankfully, whenever it's all hooked up, it is all working, and all working pretty well without too much hassle. So yeah, just that's a long way around of getting to the point of saying that I know that there's a little bit of a glitch in the intro music and the intro video, and basically that must be part of that file. That's how it was recorded, if that makes sense. So I am going to get my backside in gear and try and get something more professional looking, organised, for the not too distant future. It's really refreshing to have a machine which I'm not struggling with to make it work, which is chugging along quite nicely, very happily, and yeah, it's a real joy to use, and without breaking the bank as well. So very, very happy with that. But anyway, as I say, that's it for the meantime. And if you're interested, as I say, I will be back again at some point next week with more. Thanks for watching.